The day before my wedding, I got into a serious car accident. As I was dying, my best friend Mary was crying her heart out, begging me not to leave. My boyfriend Larry held my hand, his eyes red, and slipped a ring on my finger. As my body floated above, I saw them kissing in the corner of my funeral room. Mary even laughed smugly. Who would have thought the accident would go so well? Now all her money is finally ours. Larry held her close, saying, "After everything settles, I'll give you a grand wedding." Turns out, they had been plotting together all along to get my money. Maybe because of deep hatred, I came back to life. In this new life, I witnessed the grim fate of my best friend and boyfriend. I was filled with satisfaction. I opened my eyes and found myself sitting in the car again. I was on my way to work when the car started shaking. I quickly hit the brakes. But the car wasn't slowing down. Instead, it felt like it was speeding up. Everything was exactly like it was before the accident. Suddenly I realized I had been reborn, transported back to the day I died in the crash. The memories of that horrible car wreck flooded my mind. I began to panic, my hands trembling on the steering wheel. Was I doomed to die a tragic death again? No way, I can't go down like this. Just as the car was about to hit the greenbelt, I pulled the door open and leapt out. When I opened my eyes again, all I could smell was disinfectant, reminding me I was in a hospital. "Ma'am, you're awake. Are you feeling okay?" I turned to the speaker. It was a doctor. "Since you're awake, let's inform your family to process the admission." So, I didn't die. In the last life, Larry and Mary hadn't reached the hospital yet. Suddenly, an idea popped into my head. With the doctor's help, my best friend Mary and boyfriend Larry came to my room. Mary fell to her knees at my bedside, crying her heart out. "Jenny, how could you just leave like that?" Then I felt something cold slide onto my ring finger. I squinted to see Larry, his eyes red, slipping a ring onto my finger. Their act was identical to the last time. They thought I was dead and were putting on a show with crocodile tears. In that floating state, I figured it all out. Mary and Larry had been in cahoots for a while. In my previous life, I was a famous businesswoman, had worked hard for years, and Mary was my rock, always there for me. Mary was the person I trusted most, and I promised that if something happened to me, she'd inherit everything. I never imagined she'd conspire with Larry to mess with my car and claim my fortune when I was gone. I'll never forget the trauma of the crash scene, the suffocating despair. This time around, I'm not letting them win. Mary stopped crying, eyes full of satisfaction and scheming. "Larry, we did it. All her money is finally ours." Larry, holding Mary, said, "Once everything settles, I'll give you a big wedding." "Okay." They hugged tightly, like lovers with a long-lasting bond. Seeing this, my heart twisted painfully. How could the people I loved so much hurt me like this? But they wouldn't be enjoying it for long. I had my plans for revenge. Just then, a doctor walked into the room. "Family members, please step out. We need to move the body to the morgue." Before leaving, Mary squeezed out a couple of tears. "Jenny, we will make sure you rest in peace." The doctor covered me with a white sheet and wheeled me out. As we passed Mary, my hand brushed against her. It scared her pale and she jumped back several feet. Larry noticed and hurried over, worried. "Mary, what's wrong?" After a momentary shock, Mary's eyes stayed on my body being wheeled out. Seeing nothing wrong, she relaxed. She forced a smile. "Nothing, just my imagination." Larry let it go, but he didn't have much time to worry about Mary since he had important things to do. Once I was in the morgue undisturbed, the doctor helped move me out through another door. At a different hospital room, I pulled out a phone to make some calls. What I needed to do couldn't be done alone. I needed help. Soon, my assistant Lily from last life showed up at the hospital. Her eyes were red, full of concern. "Jenny, is it really you?" When I got the call, I could hardly believe it, because... Lily choked up, unable to finish her sentence. I finished for her. because everyone thought I died in the accident. Yeah, right before you called, Larry told the company about your death. Larry couldn't wait to announce my death, could he? Before Lily left, I discussed my plan with her. 2 days later, it was my funeral. Just like before, Larry threw a lavish funeral. He invited everyone who was important in my life. With Lily's help, I disguised myself for the funeral. Walking into the room where I learned the truth last life, my feelings were mixed. Larry and Mary acted heartbroken throughout, without any slip-ups. Once the guests thinned out, I prepared for their next move, according to last time's script. I grabbed my phone, ready to record, and sure enough, they sneaked a kiss in my funeral corner when no one was looking. What a disgrace. Through my pain and disgust, I quickly recorded it on my phone. Once I had the footage, I left. Until everything was in place, I decided to lay low at a place Lily helped me rent. While Larry was busy with my funeral these days, I had Lily set up small cameras all over my old house. Unable to do much myself, I turned on the computer. Soon, I heard sounds from it. It was Mary's voice. "Honey, what should we do next?" Through the camera feed, I saw Larry and Mary sitting on my wedding bed. Larry gently held Mary. "Just to be safe, we should quickly call a shareholder meeting together to take over the company." Turns out they had everything planned long ago, just waiting for that day to arrive. Last time we couldn't finish her off, this time we can't afford any slip-ups. Mary speaks again. Their words remind me of the time I was pushed into the lake by someone in my previous life. I remember I was taking a call by the lakeside railing when a masked man bumped into me, sending me into the lake. That guy ran off as soon as he saw me fall into the water, and it was a passerby who eventually saved me. I never imagined that incident was part of their scheme to harm me. While I was lost in thought, the two started to flirt with each other. Their flirty voices pulled me back into reality. Watching the two passionately kissing in the surveillance video made me feel sick to my stomach. The scene was too graphic to bear. I quickly copied the content I overheard, just in case I need it later. That day, Lily came over to report to me. "Jenny, Larry has already informed the board, and they'll hold a meeting tomorrow. Plus, Larry's bribed a few board members he's close with to vote for him, so if he ends up with the most shares, he'll be the next chairman. I've known for a while about Larry's ambitious intentions. Let's see if he even has the fate to sit in that chairman position." Hatred flashed in my eyes. Yes, I hate Larry. I hate how he betrayed me and how he wants to take over my company. Is everything in place? I confirmed with Lily again. Yeah, everything's set. Tomorrow, they won't know what hit them. In the company's meeting room, Larry and Mary arrived early. Though Larry's just a small-time department head, his engagement to me gives him a bold presence in the company. And Mary, being my best friend and the vice president, also holds some power. Everyone thought I was dead, so Larry and Mary's words held some weight with the board. As everyone arrived, Larry glanced at Mary. Once she gave the signal, he started the election meeting for the new chairman. With a solemn face, Larry said, "As Jenny's fiancé, her passing has brought me unbearable grief, and I believe you all feel the same. But such a large company cannot go leaderless, so today I've gathered everyone to hear your thoughts." As soon as Larry finished, the board members began to speak. "It'd be best if we choose an interim chairman to handle all matters. Yeah, I think Larry's young and capable, should let him take the reins." Hearing someone recommend him, Larry smirked, looking confident of victory. "Let's hold a vote then, majority wins." While the board discussed, Larry and Mary exchanged glances. Afterward, Mary spoke up, "As the vice president, I think Larry is the best choice, but to be fair, we should follow through with the voting process." As my assistant, Lily was tasked with tallying up the votes. It didn't take long before the results were out. Just like in my previous life, Larry won. Mary proudly announced the results. I announced that the new interim chairman is Mr. Larry. I disagree. The meeting came to a halt because of my unexpected words. Seeing someone who had already had a funeral suddenly show up, everyone in the room turned pale, sitting frozen in place. They were afraid I'd float over and take their lives. Wearing all black and a baseball cap, I reclaimed my original seat. Smiling at everyone, I said, "Don't be scared, I'm Jenny." In his panic, Larry was the first to react. "Jenny, weren't you already?" Facing Larry's deceitful face again, my heart couldn't help but ache. I loved him so much in my previous life, gave him the best of everything. Knowing he had a bad stomach, I would cook for him even when busy, all because he said food outside was too greasy. But all I got in return were bloody knives. I forced myself not to dwell on past pains. Suppressing my disgust, I grabbed Larry's hand, looking intently into his eyes. "Larry, aren't you happy I survived?" At that moment, I saw a flash of panic in Larry's eyes, and his hand holding mine was sweaty. I mocked him in my mind. If he's panicking now, how will he handle what's about to come? Larry put on a seemingly perfect smile. "Why wouldn't I be? Jenny's alive, I'm naturally the happiest." Once they confirmed I was really alive, everyone else relaxed. My gaze often fell on Mary, noticing her frustration. "Hold on, I don't believe this is our CEO." Mary finally couldn't hold it any longer and prepared to strike. "Board members, do you really believe someone can come back from the dead?" Hearing this, the board was filled with doubt. "Mary's right, no one just comes back from the dead." "Who are you? How dare you impersonate our CEO? Yeah, come clean, or we're calling the cops." I just smiled, curious about what they'd do next. "Everyone, the person in front of you is indeed our legitimate CEO. Don't fall for certain people's lies." Lily spoke with fierce eyes locked on Mary. I knew appearing suddenly would raise eyebrows, and those closest to me would doubt. "Lily, you're just a lowly assistant. You have no place to speak here." Mary always had a bit of a tyrant streak, her saying this didn't surprise anyone. But Lily wasn't afraid. "I might not have the right to speak, but my loyalty to the CEO is unwavering, unlike some whose ambition knows no bounds." One director, who used to respect me, picked up on Lily's insinuation and started questioning her. "Lily, what are you implying? Everyone knows Mary and the CEO are best friends, she wouldn't betray her." "Exactly, the CEO cherished them like treasures, but what about them? Plus, as they say, trust but verify, but the true intentions hidden in the heart can't be seen." Lily. As Mary listened to Lily's words, she started getting more and more suspicious, which made her angry. "Don't you start spouting nonsense. You've got nothing to do here anymore. Get out of the way. Where are the security guards? Why are they letting anybody in? Hurry up and take care of this." When I heard Mary compared me to a stray animal, I just smiled helplessly. She's trying to cover up, trying to strike first. But I'm not about to let that happen. Soon, 4 uniformed security guards walked in. They just stood there, not doing anything. Seeing this, Mary got even angrier. "Is the company paying you for nothing? Aren't you going to throw her out?" But the guards just stood there, unmoved. "Are you all deaf or what? If you can't do your job, then you're fired." Larry, who had been silent till now, chimed in. The guards remained standing, staring straight ahead. And I watched the show quietly. Since I was reborn and avoided my death, I couldn't predict what would happen next. So, I decided to sit back and let things play out. The room grew tense. The other board members, too scared to speak, stayed silent. I started clapping my hands loudly, my smile a mix of humor and irony. "Great performance. You fraud, stop causing trouble here. If you don't leave, I'll call the police," Mary warned, her patience utterly used up. I wasn't scared of them one bit. I adopted a serious expression and began questioning Mary and Larry. Larry, care to explain exactly what went down with my car accident?" I noticed them exchange a glance when I mentioned the accident, but they quickly looked away. Mary was sure no one knew what they did to my car. She didn't blink as she said, the accident was just that, an accident, nothing more. No shortage of road fatalities around these days. I looked at Mary for a few seconds, seeing her expression unchanged and calm. Turning to Larry, I asked, "So, Larry, was my accident really just an accident, or was it deliberate?" Larry exchanged another glance with Mary and then said, without hesitation, "Your accidents got nothing to do with us." They thought they'd covered their tracks well, thinking they'd never know I was reborn and already knew their scheme inside out. I took a deep breath. I had thought of giving them a chance, but if they were determined to burn bridges, so be it. "Okay, you're so sure. But what if I find out you messed with my car? How will you explain that?" Larry's body twitched slightly, and he began to panic. His voice stammered. "You're my fiancé. I wouldn't harm you. It was just an accident." "Mary, what do you say?" I asked Mary again. "You're my best friend. I wouldn't harm you," Mary said dismissively. I smirked after hearing her answer. Perfect. You guys would rock in Hollywood. So, board members, you all believe them? Afraid to make waves, all the board members exchanged looks and eventually nodded in unison. I felt a chill in my heart. From founding this company to working day and night, I spent over a decade to achieve today's success. Meanwhile, many present here earned money doing nothing. Yet none questioned my accident or checked into it. Moments ago, they even doubted my identity. It pained me deeply. Lily's voice broke through, full of anger on my behalf. "You all are such fools. Fine, since none wants to fess up, let's take it to the police." The moment I finished speaking, the 4 guards quickly moved forward, each grabbing an arm to escort them out. Finally, Mary started to realize something was off. She resisted, yelling, "Jenny, you've got it wrong. I'm your best friend. Why have me dragged away?" Larry too wouldn't admit it. "Jenny, I'm your fiancé. There can't be anything wrong. We're going through a misunderstanding." Now they began to panic. But it was too late. "Fine, I wanted to leave you some dignity, but you didn't appreciate it." Lily understood my meaning, inserted a USB drive into the computer, and projected it on the screen. Soon, images of Mary and Larry kissing at my altar appeared, followed by their illicit activities in my marital bedroom and conversations about taking my assets. Seeing this, the board members began whispering among themselves. Mary and Larry looked mortified. "Stop. Turn that off," Mary yelled. "This isn't real. Lily, you're setting me up. These videos must be fake." When Mary still wouldn't admit it, Lily showed evidence of them tampering with my car. After viewing it, Mary denied it once more. "Those are fake too. I never did anything like that." Larry, with a sincere expression, faced me, portraying me as malicious and troublesome. "Jenny, I've loved you all my life. I wouldn't wrong you. You must have been deceived." Yet the proof was right there, and they still didn't confess. Did they think I'd believe them this life as blindly as I had before? Not anymore. After realizing their betrayal, I'd never trust them or waste my grief over them again. "Okay, you're sticking to that, then it's a matter for the police." "No way, you aren't Jenny. The real Jenny wouldn't do this. We're everything to her." Mary was spot on, the old Jenny would have never treated them like this. But she didn't survive them. The reborn me had no mercy left for them. "What are you standing around for? Get them to the police station." Seeing how cold and firm I was, ignoring them completely, Mary and Larry realized things were fully out of their control. Moreover, I had changed far from who I once was. Suddenly, Mary had a light bulb moment, pointing at me as the memory of when I grasped her hand in the hospital resurfaced. "Jenny, you didn't die in the accident, did you? You want us to think you're dead? You're heartless, toying with us." Mary might not be dumb, she figured it out. But with things where they were, their misdeeds were clear. They were going to pay for what they'd done. And how else could I have exposed their crimes without it going this way? Larry realized he was busted and tried to break free from the security guard's grip. He fell to his knees in front of me, begging for mercy. "Jenny, I know I messed up. You can't do this to me. I'm your beloved Larry." "Oh really, you still think you're the one I love the most, huh? Did you ever think about my feelings when you were cheating on me?" I asked, pretending to be upset. "One is my best friend, and the other is the man I was about to marry. You two are really something." Larry knew he was out of line but didn't want to admit it. "Jenny, I never meant to hurt you. It was all Mary. She seduced me. It was her plan. If you don't believe me, ask her," he said, pointing at Mary, his eyes filled with disdain and hatred. Mary looked at Larry in disbelief and then started yelling at him. "Larry, you're such a jerk. How could you deny me like that? When we were having fun, you didn't say any of this. If you weren't feeling so lonely and came on to me, I wouldn't have been tempted. Funny. You were the one trash-talking Jenny, saying she's all work and no charm. You even said you'd wait until marriage to sleep with her, but you couldn't keep it in your pants." Hearing this, I remembered the previous life. Back then, Larry tried several times to coax me into giving myself to him, but I held my ground each time. He even promised he'd respect me and that we'd be each other's first. I was touched by his respect and became more devoted to him. And what did he do? Turned around and slept with Mary, then said I was putting on airs. My heart ached for the wrong person I had devoted myself to. I didn't want to hear them tear into each other anymore. Their betrayal was a fact, and I wouldn't let them get away with it. "Take them away," I ordered the security guards, closing my eyes. The guards dragged them out despite their struggles. Soon, their pleas faded at the doorway. At that moment, all the board members in the meeting room were trying their best to lower their heads, not daring to look me in the eye. I didn't blame them, but I saw the truth about people through this incident. I'll be making some changes inside the company. A security guard rushed in, flustered. "Boss, Mary escaped." I stayed on my guard in case she came back for revenge, until a piece of news surfaced online. The headline accused an unethical doctor of faking a patient's death. There was even a video of the doctor admitting I bribed him for a fake death certificate. The news hit hard, and the company's stocks plummeted. Lily, looking worried, said, "Boss, what do we do? People are cursing you online, saying you're insane for hurting your best friend and boyfriend." I knew Mary was fighting back. She was good at countering anything thrown her way, trying to ruin my reputation online and make herself the victim. But I wasn't going to let her win. "Don't worry. Just post all the evidence we have online right away." "Right, I'll do it now." To solve this online mess, the evidence might not be enough. I needed some backup. I headed to the police station. Larry looked a lot worse for wear. If I'd seen him like this in the past, I would have been heartbroken, but not now. When he saw me, he got excited and wanted to reach for my hand, forgetting the handcuffs, but couldn't reach me. He awkwardly looked down, whispering, "Why are you here? What do you want to say?" Looking at the man I once loved, I thought if he hadn't gotten involved with Mary, we could have been married by now. But he fell for temptation. "I heard you refuse to admit what you and Mary did. There's an opportunity for you." I took Larry's statement and walked to the police station entrance. Lily was there, still looking worried. "Boss, I posted all the evidence online, but Mary is live streaming and playing the victim. People believe her, and the online insults are getting nastier." I patted Lily's shoulder. "Calm down. Here, take this." Lily took it, but there was no joy on her face. She asked, "Does this really work?" I said, "Absolutely." After Lily posted the evidence I gave her online, the comments blew up. I sat on the couch, crossed my legs, and leisurely scrolled through my phone. "This woman is disgusting, stealing her friend's man. Shameless." Exactly, she even went live to play the victim. I almost believed her. Yeah, from now on, even the best friends need to be guarded against. That guy is gross too, messing around with his girlfriend's best friend. Total jerk. He's so dumb. About to marry a rich woman and can't keep it together? Now he's lost everything. Seeing all these comments condemning the two of them made me feel amazing inside. This was the best day since I got a second chance at life. I kept scrolling through my phone. Boss lady, don't forgive them. Forget past love and friendship, focus on protecting your company. That comment made me laugh. Yeah, now money is what matters most. Money isn't everything, but you can't do anything without it. The next morning, as I was heading out to work, a figure suddenly appeared in front of me. Jenny, go to hell. It was Mary speaking. By the time I realized it, she'd thrown red paint all over me. I never thought she'd be so crazy to do that to me. Memories flooded my mind. Mary and I have been friends for over a decade, since I started the company. Back then, the market was tough, competition fierce. I couldn't get suppliers or loans, and the pressure was overwhelming. Mary was the one always by my side, encouraging and supporting me. She was the person I trusted the most. I owe a lot of my success to her, and I've always been grateful. Even knowing she wasn't very capable, I still gave her the position of vice president in my company. And what did she do? She got involved with Larry. Being betrayed by the person you trust most is really heartbreaking. Go to hell. While I was stunned, Mary pulled a fruit knife from her pocket and, full of hate, lunged at me. Fortunately, I reacted quickly and avoided it. Mary, did a dog eat your conscience? What are you doing? Mary, holding the knife, had lost her mind and charged at me again. Jenny, you bitch, you ruined me. If I can't have it good, neither can you. With all my strength, I grabbed her knife hand, trying to snap her out of it. Mary, if you dare to harm me, you can look forward to spending your life in prison. But if you can pull back, maybe your sentence will be reduced. Oh, Jenny, you're so ruthless. Without me supporting and encouraging you all these years, would you be where you are today? Yes, I am grateful for everything you've done for me all these years. I even promised that if I died, I'd leave you everything I own. But you shouldn't have, no, mustn't have, conspired with Larry to harm me. As Mary hesitated, I grabbed the knife and pushed her hard to the ground. Mary fell, cutting her hand, but she didn't notice. Instead, she laughed. Huh, if you give me your fortune, wouldn't that make me a rich woman? I'm a rich woman now. Mary laughed wildly, looking up at the sky. Watching Mary sitting on the ground, slightly deranged, I felt nothing but satisfaction. It wasn't long before the police arrived to take Mary away. I heard that Mary started rambling at the station, claiming she was a big business owner, wealthy, a rich woman everyone envied. The police called, saying Larry had something to say to me and wanted me to visit the station. But I didn't go. He probably just wanted to apologize, and I didn't want to hear it. Not long after, Mary and Larry were convicted of attempted murder, with solid evidence, and sentenced. Even if they get out one day, they would have a criminal record. Their careers and lives will be severely affected. But that's got nothing to do with me. I won't feel sorry for them, they brought this upon themselves. Everyone pays the price for their mistakes. In this new life, I avenged myself from the last one. Seeing the downfall of both my friend and boyfriend, I felt no pain, only satisfaction. My beautiful new life is just beginning.